You have probably seen the image. A person stands in front of cameras. The lights are bright. The smile is practiced. Everything is in its place just as it should be. The suit is perfect. The hair is perfect. But one detail is wrong. It pulls your attention and holds it. There is a darkness around their left eye. It looks like a smudge on a photograph, a deep purple and blue shadow. It does not belong in this clean world of power and control. It is a messy, human thing. It is the kind of mark left by a fall or a fight. It feels out of place. It's a crack in the smooth surface they present to the world. And once you see it, you start to see it more often. It's not just one person, one time. It is an echo. The same strange mark appears on other powerful people, in other parts of the world, at different times. A politician here, a famous actor there, a royal figure, an industry leader. The image repeats. The same eye, the same dark circle. It's a quiet pattern, and once noticed, it is hard to ignore. Some people have given this pattern a name. They call it the Black Eye Club. The name itself sounds like something from a secret story. It's a story many have tried to piece together. According to this theory, the black eye is not an accident. It is a sign. The story goes that this mark is a form of initiation. It is the price of entry into a small group that secretly runs the world. To get a seat at the table, you must give something up. You must carry the mark to show you belong. Another version of the story says the mark is a punishment. It is a warning from hidden masters. It serves to remind even the most powerful person that they still have someone to answer to. It is a leash made visible on the skin, a sign of obedience. A third version of the story is darker. It speaks of rituals happening in secret rooms, far from public view. In this telling, the black eye is the result of a spiritual trade. It is the visible sign that a person's soul has been compromised for worldly power. These stories circulate online, in forums, and on video platforms. They show pictures of world leaders, entertainers, and chief executives, all with the same strange injury. The story is pieced together, one photo at a time. And the central idea is simple. These are not accidents. This is a code. This is the mark of a hidden order. So, is it real? Is there a secret club of powerful people getting black eyes as part of a hidden ritual? This is the question that usually comes next, but it might be the wrong question to ask. The search for proof, for a smoking gun, can lead down an endless rabbit hole. There is always another photo to analyze, another explanation to consider. The more interesting question, I think, is this: why is this story so believable? Why do we need a story like this to be real? This is not an investigation into whether the club exists. This is an investigation into us. It is a journey into our own minds and into the fears and hopes we carry. The Black Eye Club is a powerful myth. And by looking closely at the myth itself, we can learn something important about the world we live in today. The story's power is not in the evidence. Its power is in what it says about our relationship with power itself. So let's explore that. Let's look at the building blocks of this modern myth. Where does it come from? And what does our belief in it say about us? Our brain is a pattern-finding machine. It is its main job, and it does it very well. We see faces in the clouds. We find familiar shapes in the texture of a popcorn ceiling. We hear words in the static between radio stations. This is not a flaw in our thinking. It is a core feature of how we survive. Scientists have a name for this. They call it Apophenia. It is the tendency to see meaningful connections between unrelated things. For our ancient ancestors, this skill was a matter of life and death. If you saw a strange shape in the tall grass, it was safer to assume it was a lion than to assume it was just a trick of the light. If you were wrong, you just looked a little silly. If you were right, you survived. The brain that saw patterns, even false ones, was the brain that lived to pass on its genes. We have inherited that brain. We live in a world overflowing with information, with random noise. And our brain is still trying to do its old job. It tries to connect the dots. It wants to turn the noise into a signal. It looks for a story. The Black Eye Club may be one of the biggest examples of this in our modern world. Think about the data points. One famous person gets a black eye in 2004. Another gets one in 2011. A third appears with one in 2018. These are separate events happening to separate people in separate places for possibly dozens of different reasons. A fall on the ice, a car accident, a simple surgery, a sports injury. These are random, boring, unconnected events. Our brain does not like random and boring. It wants a story. So it draws a line from the first dot to the second, and from the second to the third. It ignores the thousands of powerful people who don't have black eyes. It focuses only on the ones that fit the pattern. It filters out the noise and amplifies the signal it wants to hear. The belief often comes first. A person might already feel that a secret group controls the world. Then, they see a picture of a politician with a black eye. That picture does not create the belief. It confirms it. It becomes another piece of evidence for a story that was already being written in the mind. Our brain is not a passive observer. It is an active storyteller. And the story of the Black Eye Club is a story it seems very eager to tell. It takes the chaos of random accidents and gives it order, purpose, and a hidden meaning. But why a black eye? Why not a broken arm or a scarred hand? Of all the possible marks, why does this specific injury capture our imagination so deeply? The answer is that the symbol of a wounded eye is not new. It is ancient. It is buried deep in our collective memory, in the oldest stories we have ever told. Across nearly every culture in human history, the eye is more than just an organ for sight. It is a symbol of consciousness, of awareness, of the soul itself. We say the eyes are the windows to the soul. We talk about the evil eye. We speak of seeing the truth. The eye is where our inner world meets the outer world. It is the center of our understanding. Because the eye holds such symbolic weight, an injury to it is also more than just an injury. A wounded eye is a powerful archetype. It is a story in itself. It can mean many different things, all of them profound. In some old myths, a wounded eye represents a sacrifice made for a greater power or a different kind of sight. The Norse god, Odin, famously sacrificed one of his eyes for a drink from a well of cosmic wisdom. He gave up his physical sight to gain a deeper spiritual vision. When we see a powerful person with a blackened eye, this ancient story stirs within us. Perhaps they too have traded something away. Perhaps they have given up a piece of their humanity for access to a secret knowledge or power. A wounded eye can also mean the opposite. It can symbolize a loss of vision, a loss of soul. It can be a mark of blindness, not just of the eye, but of the heart. It suggests a person who can no longer see the difference between right and wrong. It is a mark of being spiritually broken. This connects to the idea of the club as a corrupting force. The mark is an outward sign of an inner decay. Finally, a damaged eye is a powerful symbol of initiation. In many tribal cultures, ceremonies that mark the passage from childhood to adulthood involve a symbolic wound or ordeal. The initiate must endure pain to be reborn into a new status. The wound is a sign that they have passed the test. A black eye fits this pattern perfectly. It looks like the result of a struggle, a trial. It suggests the person has gone through something in secret and has emerged on the other side, changed. They are now part of the group. They have been initiated. The Black Eye Club myth feels so significant because it doesn't use a new symbol. It uses one of the oldest and most powerful ones we have. It taps into these deep currents of meaning that we already understand on a subconscious level. We don't need to be told the story of Odin to feel its echo. The symbol does the work for us. It makes a simple conspiracy theory feel like a timeless myth. There is another layer to this story. It is the feeling that you are being let in on a huge secret. Believing in the Black Eye Club is not just about seeing a pattern. It is about feeling like you have been given a key to unlock a hidden reality. This feeling is also not new. It is a modern version of a very old way of thinking. This way of thinking is sometimes called Gnosticism. It was a collection of religious and philosophical ideas from thousands of years ago. The Gnostics had a particular view of the world. They believed that the physical world we live in is not the real world. They saw it as a flawed, broken place, maybe even a prison. They believed it was built and controlled by a lesser, malevolent power. For the Gnostics, the only way to escape this prison was through gnosis. Gnosis is a Greek word that means knowledge. But it wasn't just any knowledge, it was a special, secret, spiritual knowledge. It was the truth hidden from the masses. If you had gnosis, you could see the world for what it truly was. You were awake while everyone else was asleep. Modern conspiracy theories often follow this exact same script. They function as a kind of modern Gnosticism. They tell you that the world you see on the news is a lie. They tell you that history as you learned it in school is a cover story. They say the world is secretly run by a small, hidden group. A cabal, the Illuminati, or a club of people with black eyes. The theory offers you gnosis. It offers you the secret knowledge. By believing, you are no longer one of the sheep. You are one of the few who knows what is really going on. This can be a very powerful feeling. It can give a sense of order to a chaotic world. It can also give a sense of superiority. It feels good to be on the inside, to know the secret that others do not. The writer Umberto Eco wrote a famous novel about this mindset. In his story, a group of people invent a conspiracy as a kind of game. But they become so obsessed with their own creation, so deep in their search for secret connections, that they begin to believe their game is real. They get lost in their own map. The desire for a secret, all-encompassing plan was so strong that it created its own reality. The Black Eye Club story works in a similar way. It provides a simple explanation for a complicated world. It tells you who is to blame. It gives you a secret to hold on to. The secret itself becomes a source of comfort and identity. The search for more clues, for more photos, for more connections becomes its own reward. It confirms your special status as someone who is in the know. Perhaps the deepest reason this myth exists comes from a very modern problem. Power has changed. It does not look the way it used to, and this makes us deeply anxious. In the past, for most of human history, power was visible. It was a king on a throne. It was a general leading an army. It was a castle on a hill. You could see power. You could point to it. You knew who was in charge. If you were a peasant and your life was hard, you knew who to blame. You might not be able to do anything about it, but you knew where the power was. It had a face and a name. Today, power is often invisible. It is abstract. Think about the forces that shape our lives now. The global financial market can crash, and millions can lose their jobs because of computer code trading stocks in fractions of a second. An algorithm on a social media site can change the mood of a country, but no one knows exactly how it works. A distant corporation can make a decision that pollutes a town's water supply, but the decision was made by a committee following a policy to maximize shareholder value. Who do you point to? Who is the king? Where is the castle? More often than not, there is no one person to blame. Power has become a system. It is a network of rules, technologies, and economic forces. It is faceless, remote, and it operates without leaving a clear trail. This can create a deep sense of helplessness. It feels less like we are being ruled and more like we are being managed by a machine we cannot see. The Black Eye Club theory, I think, is a reaction against this. It is a psychological rebellion against the abstraction of modern power. It serves a deep need to make power visible again. The black eye is a physical brand. It is a mark left on the body by a tangible master. It takes the invisible, confusing system and turns it back into a group of people in a room making decisions. It gives power a face again, even if it is a bruised and sinister one. The myth tells us that someone is in charge. There is a hand on the wheel. This is a terrifying thought, but for many, it is more comforting than the alternative. The philosopher Byung-Chul wrote that old power worked by saying no. It was disciplinary. It left scars. New power works by saying yes. It encourages us to participate, to share, to like. It is seductive, not oppressive. The myth of the Black Eye Club is a longing for the old kind of power, the kind that was clear and direct enough to leave a mark. Even a brutal master is at least a master you can see. The myth gives us a visible enemy, and in a confusing world, that can feel like a strange kind of relief. So what is the Black Eye Club when we put all the pieces together? It is a powerful story. It's a piece of modern folklore that is perfectly designed for our time. It begins with a quirk of our own minds. Our pattern-seeking brain takes random, unconnected events and weaves them into a single thread. It finds a signal in the noise. That signal becomes powerful because it latches onto one of our oldest and most potent symbols, the wounded eye. This gives the story a feeling of ancient importance, a deep mythical weight. The story is then shaped into a familiar narrative framework, a form of modern Gnosticism. It offers the appeal of secret knowledge, a key to understanding a hidden reality. It gives believers a sense of being awake in a world of sleeping people, and all of this is powered by a very real, very modern anxiety. It is a response to a world where power has become faceless, abstract, and remote. The myth makes power concrete again. It gives the invisible master a visible mark. It is not just one of these things, it is all of them working together. This is why the story sticks. This is why it spreads. It is a perfect storm of psychology, symbolism, and social anxiety. It is a myth that our culture seems to have created because, on some level, we needed it. It is a story we are telling ourselves to make sense of a world that no longer seems to make sense. In the end, the story of the Black Eye Club is probably not about the people with bruised eyes. It is not really about them at all. It is about us. The people who see the photos, who share the theory, and who feel a quiet chill of recognition. The myth is a mirror. It reflects our own deep desire to find meaning in a world that often feels random and chaotic. It shows our fear of forces we cannot see or control. It reveals our longing for a world that is simpler, more visible, and easier to understand, even if that world is a darker one. The real power of this myth is not what it says about a secret group of elites. Its power is what it says about the rest of us. It shows us the shape of our own fears. The Black Eye Club might not be real, but our need for it tells us everything about the world we live in now.